And you have told me about a pretty neat encounter that you
Yeah,
had
it
in New
was a weird one.
Mexico.
Yeah,
Yeah, tell the listeners about that encounter and just kind of go into
sure.
detail if you can.
Yeah, so I was a Boy Scout and later on around late 90s, we're pretty much all Eagle Scouts and getting to be almost adults there, and some of us were adults. We started doing venture crew stuff, and this one was out in Philmont, which is a scout camp out in New Mexico. It's right on the western edge of as you're entering the Rockies. So the mountains are there, but it's not the Rockies you would normally think of. These are like very arid, and there's pine trees and stuff, but you're kind of in more desert, dry landscape. And yeah, so we were out. We picked a trek that was, I think it was like 130 miles or something like that. So we were doing quite a bit out there. And then we on one night, pretty late into it, like I think this was over the course of like a little under 2 weeks, basically. We had one day that it was going to be really long, and we had to hike down this we had to hike a few miles, then we had to go down this valley and then back up this other side of this ridge line. And it was going to get us to kind of the base of Mount Phillips. So it was only like 9 or 10 at most. And then we started hearing some stomping coming closer to us up the mountainside, and we assumed it was going to be a bear because it's very common out there for especially black bear. Um, and so we did what we were told to do, which is like you stand in a cluster and you grab your pots and pans, and you like everybody makes themselves really large. And so there was like seven of us, so we're all standing around together, and this thing starts coming closer and closer. But then the otter thing happened, which was a small rock that was like, I don't know, like palm size, just kind of bounced and rolled right in front of us. And then we were like, I remember being like, can a bear throw a rock? And then my friends looked at each other. We're all like, bears throw rocks? Bears throw, like, we were just kind of panicking. And then it's moving around in back and forth still. And so I go back and go to the campfire, and one of the other guys had the same idea, and we pulled a couple of the logs out of the fire, and we're just like waving them in the air, like, trying to like get it, like scare it away. And then that's when a rock that was more like probably about that size just thudded right in front of us. And we were like, that's not a bear. What is that? And then we're not yelling anymore. Now we're just kind of standing there and panicking with the flashlights, trying to see anything. And then out of the darkness, just this log that was probably about that wide diameter and maybe like 6, 7 feet wide, just comes flying over our heads, lands into our campground, and then just rolls through the like campfire. And we all ducked, but it was probably like 2, 3 feet above our heads. Like, it was way over our heads. And we now were like, what is this? And at the time, none of us were like thinking like this could be a Bigfoot thing or anything. It was, we were just kind of stunned. And then the thing like gave like roar, but it was kind of like as if like felt, honestly, man, it felt like it was annoyed we were there. Like it felt like move, like get out of the way, go away.
Would you want to have another encounter like that?
Like it's like that, what is it? Like the type A adventure or whatever, where it's like, or type B adventure where you in the moment you're losing your mind and you think like you're gonna die, but then afterwards you're like, that was pretty cool. I would say that I wouldn't mind having another encounter only because I don't think this thing was out to hurt us. And all these like people who have these encounters and stuff, I've never heard anybody say that it hurt them. So if these are out there, like I've never heard anybody once say like I got attacked.